The year is 1861. America, once a beacon of unity, is fractured, brother against brother, a nation at war with itself. The issue, slavery. The South, clinging to its agrarian way of life, fiercely defends its right to own slaves. The North, industrialized and progressive, sees slavery as a moral abomination. A chasm grows between them, threatening to consume the nation. Tension hangs heavy in the air, thick with uncertainty and dread. War is coming. A storm is brewing, and no one, North or South, can escape its wrath. Thomas, a young man from rural Pennsylvania, works his family's farm. Life is simple, peaceful. His days are filled with the honest labor of a farmer. He plows the fields, tends to the livestock, and courts his childhood sweetheart, Mary. Mary, with her infectious laughter and gentle heart, is the love of his life. They dream of a future together, a future filled with love, family, and the simple joys of life on their farm. But war has a way of shattering even the most cherished dreams. The conflict, brewing for years, finally boils over. Fort Sumter falls. President Lincoln calls for volunteers. Thomas knows his duty. He must answer the call. With a heavy heart, he prepares to leave behind everything he holds dear. The mustering ground is a sea of humanity. Young men, their faces etched with a mixture of fear and excitement, gather from every corner of the Union. They are farmers, blacksmiths, shopkeepers, ordinary men, thrust into extraordinary circumstances. Thomas stands among them, his heart pounding in his chest. He is scared but determined to do his duty. He bids farewell to his father, his calloused hand gripping his son's shoulder one last time. He turns to Mary, her eyes brimming with tears. He promises to return to her, a promise etched in his heart. He vows to fight for their future, for the future of their nation. With a final kiss, he joins the ranks of the Union Army, his life forever changed. He is no longer just Thomas the farmer. He is now Private Thomas, a soldier in the fight for freedom. The Union Army, a sea of blue uniforms, marches south. The rhythmic beat of drums and the shrill sound of fifes fill the air. They are heading into the unknown, into the heart of the Confederacy. Thomas marches with his comrades, their faces grim, their resolve unwavering. They are united by a common cause, a belief that this war, this terrible war, is a fight for the very soul of America. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months. The reality of war sets in. The endless marching, the meager rations, the constant threat of disease and death. But through it all, Thomas's spirit remains unbroken. He finds solace in the camaraderie of his fellow soldiers. They share stories, laughter, and fears. They are brothers in arms, bound by the horrors they witness and the sacrifices they make. Section 5. The Burden of Duty, the Battle of Antietam. A day forever etched in Thomas's memory. The air is thick with the stench of gunpowder and death. The ground beneath his feet is littered with the bodies of fallen comrades. The cries of the wounded pierce the deafening roar of cannons. Thomas, his heart pounding in his chest, fires his musket into the Confederate lines. Fear is a constant companion, but so is duty. He fights with the ferocity of a man defending his home, his family, his way of life. He witnesses acts of incredible bravery and unimaginable cruelty. He sees the best and worst of humanity. The war, he realizes, is more than just a battle between North and South. It is a battle for the very soul of a nation. Section 6. Fires of War. Night falls on the battlefield. An eerie silence descends, broken only by the groans of the wounded. Thomas, exhausted and traumatized, searches for his friend James. James, a kind-hearted soul from Boston, had enlisted alongside Thomas. He finds James slumped against a tree, his leg shattered by a Confederate artillery shell. The light is fading from James's eyes, but a faint smile flickers across his lips as he sees Thomas. "Thomas," James whispers, his voice raspy. "Promise me. Promise me you'll tell my family. Tell them I died a good death, fighting for what's right." Thomas, choking back tears, takes James's hand. "I promise, James. I promise." He stays with James until his friend breathes his last, his hand clasped tightly in his own. Section 7. A Brother in Arms. James's death shakes Thomas to his core. War, he realizes, is not a glorious adventure. It is a brutal, unforgiving ordeal that leaves scars both physical and emotional. The faces of the fallen, their last breaths echoing in his ears, haunt his dreams. He keeps his promise to James, penning a heartfelt letter to his family. He writes of James's courage, his kindness, his unwavering belief in the cause for which he gave his life. The letter, stained with tears and dirt, is a testament to the enduring power of friendship, a bond forged in the crucible of war. It is a reminder that even amidst the darkest of times, hope and humanity can prevail. Thomas, forever changed by James's sacrifice, vows to honor his friend's memory. He will fight on, not just for himself, but for all those who have fallen, for their dream of a nation united, a nation free from the scourge of slavery. Section 8. Price of Freedom. Months bleed into years. The war rages on, claiming countless lives. Thomas, hardened by battle, becomes a seasoned soldier. He rises through the ranks, his courage and leadership earning him the respect of his men. He fights in some of the war's most brutal battles, from the blood-soaked fields of Gettysburg to the siege of Vicksburg. He witnesses firsthand the terrible toll the war is taking, not just on the soldiers, but on the nation itself. He sees the devastation wrought on the land, the homes destroyed, the families torn apart. He sees the hatred and bitterness that the war has engendered, poisoning the hearts of both North and South. The price of freedom, he realizes, is a heavy one, paid for in blood, sweat, and tears. But he never loses sight of what is at stake. He fights on, driven by the belief that this war, this terrible war, must be won. Section 9. Scars of War. The tide of the war turns. The Union Army, bolstered by fresh recruits and unwavering resolve, pushes south. Victory, long elusive, seems within reach, but the cost of victory is high. Thomas, wounded in a skirmish, is sent home to recover. He returns to Pennsylvania a changed man. The war has left its mark on him, etching lines of worry on his face and a haunted look in his eyes. He is greeted as a hero, but the accolades ring hollow in his ears. He is haunted by the memories of the fallen, the friends he lost, the horrors he witnessed. He finds solace in Mary's loving embrace, but the war's scars run deep. He struggles to adjust to civilian life. The world seems so different, so far removed from the horrors he has witnessed. The simple joys of life on the farm, once so fulfilling, now seem mundane. Section 10. A New Dawn. Time, the great healer, begins to mend Thomas's wounds. He marries Mary, their love a beacon of hope in a world shattered by war. They start a family, their children a constant reminder of the future he fought to secure. He returns to the fields, finding solace in the rhythm of nature, the feel of the earth beneath his fingertips. The war, he realizes, will always be a part of him, but it does not define him. He becomes a vocal advocate for peace, sharing his story with anyone who will listen. He speaks of the horrors of war, the senselessness of violence, the importance of understanding and reconciliation. He knows that the nation, deeply divided by the war, faces a long and difficult road to healing. But he also knows that the human spirit is resilient, capable of overcoming even the most profound challenges. Section 11. Legacy of Courage. Years later, Thomas, now an old man, sits on his porch watching his grandchildren play. The war, a distant memory, is a story he tells to his grandchildren, a story of courage, sacrifice, and the enduring power of the human spirit. He teaches them about the importance of freedom, the value of unity, the need to learn from the mistakes of the past. He tells them that the true legacy of the Civil War is not found in victory or defeat, but in the lessons learned and the progress made. As he watches his grandchildren laugh and play, he is filled with a sense of hope. The nation, once torn apart by conflict, has found a way to heal. The scars of war remain, but they are a reminder of the past, not a predictor of the future. The American experiment, though tested by fire, has endured, and Thomas, the farmer who became a soldier, played his part. His story, a testament to the human spirit's ability to endure and overcome, serves as an inspiration for generations to come.